This is a look at Miami this hour. The spread of coronavirus in Florida appears to be worsening. The state is already one of the hardest hit places in the U.S., and now it is surging ahead with a record number of new cases. Salima Shivji joins us on this story from Washington. Salima, I know you're tracking what's happening in the U.S., but let's start with that single-day record for new cases from Florida.
That's right, Jennifer, quite the record. Florida is obviously the new epicenter. More than 15,000 new infections in one day alone in that state. And that is actually a U.S. record. It's far higher than the previous record set in New York in early April. That was a little over 12,000 new infections in just one day. And that, of course, was at the very early stages of the outbreak, at the worst point, really, in early April. And that number in Florida, more than 15,000, is higher in one state in one day than the total number of infections in a country like South Korea over 6 months. So really a dramatic record here. In Miami-Dade County, 6 hospitals at least are at capacity, and more are warning that they're nearing that level. And yet a few counties away in Disney World, tourists are being welcomed. It has been reopened this weekend with some strict measures in place. Masks are mandatory. There are temperature checks as well as social distancing on rides, but yet still open. And Florida's governor is also still insisting that he wants schools to open 5 days a week next month in August when they head back to school. In Texas, too, it's another hotspot in the United States. ICUs are very much under strain, so much so that some Houston officials are calling and pleading for a return to very strict lockdown measures. They want a stay-at-home order back in place because of that surge in hospitalizations in Texas. To take the energy away from the virus is what they're saying, how the mayor is putting it. But that decision, of course, rests with the governor. He, up until this point, has resisted going that far into further lockdown measures, saying it really should be a last resort.
Salima, cases are now on the rise in 37 states. But at the same time, there are new reports that Donald Trump is working to undermine the most high-profile doctor on his own White House coronavirus task force.
That's right. Donald Trump, of course, has a reputation at times for going after his political opponents. And now it's really his the country's top infectious disease specialist, Dr. Anthony Fauci. It's increasingly and openly in the president's sights these days. Fauci is a key member of the White House coronavirus task force, also very popular here in the United States with the public, seemingly a target for basically saying more and more just how serious the spread of the virus is in this country, and that the United States is not doing well compared to other countries around the world. The president last Thursday told Fox that he thinks Dr. Fauci is a nice man, but that he has made mistakes. And then over the weekend, an escalation. The president's advisors anonymously sending a list of what they say were some mistakes that Fauci made in the early days of the pandemic. And on Sunday, another member of the White House coronavirus task force had this to say.
I respect Dr. Fauci a lot, but Dr. Fauci is not 100% right, and he also doesn't necessarily, and he admits that, have the whole national interest in mind. He looks at it from a very narrow public health point of view.
Now, Fauci had already been sidelined in the last little while. We do know that he had not personally briefed the president over in nearly 2 months. But this is really seemingly taking it to the next level, really using what some people in the political world call opposition research generally directed at political opponents, now directed at a top public health official in the middle of a virus outbreak.
Salima, thank you for this. CBC's Salima Shivji.